Imagine a planet so enormous it could swallow 63 Earths whole. It drifts through the outer dark, wrapped in a ghostly blue-green haze. A frozen, silent colossus, seemingly peaceful, seemingly simple. But do not let that silence fool you, because everything about this world, every single thing is wrong. The way it moves is wrong. The way it generates heat is wrong. The way its magnetic field behaves is wrong. Even the way time passes on its surface is wrong. This is not a planet that merely breaks a rule or two. This is a planet that looks at the laws of physics and silently, defiantly, ignores all of them. Welcome to Uranus, the seventh planet from the Sun, and perhaps the most deeply, disturbingly strange object in our entire solar system. Uranus is an ice giant, a gaseous, cyan-colored world made mostly of water, methane, and ammonia, locked in a crushing, supercritical state of matter that science barely has the vocabulary to describe. It is not rock you could stand on. It is not gas you could float through. It is something in between, a boiling, pressurized slush that goes on for thousands of kilometers, surrounding a small, rocky core buried at its heart. 4 times wider than Earth, Uranus is about 14.5 times as massive as the world we call home. After the gas giants Jupiter and Saturn, it is the largest planet in the solar system. Uranus was the first planet ever found with the aid of a telescope, discovered in 1781 by astronomer William Herschel, though he originally thought it was either a comet or a star. It took 2 years and the confirmation of multiple astronomers before humanity would accept that what Herschel had found was an entirely new world. For centuries after that discovery, Uranus sat quietly in the outer dark, distant, featureless, one of the least explored planets in the solar system. Scientists assumed it was simply a cold, boring twin to Neptune. They were catastrophically wrong. Uranus's axis is tilted at 98 degrees. It orbits the Sun not upright like all the other planets, but sideways, rolling like a ball. Think about what that actually means. Every planet in the solar system spins like a top. Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Neptune. Every single one rotates with some measure of dignity, tilted slightly, yes, but broadly upright, broadly respectable. Earth's axis is tilted a modest 23.5 degrees. That gentle lean is what gives us our 4 seasons. Uranus is tilted at 98 degrees. Its north and south poles do not point toward the stars. They point sideways directly toward the Sun, and then directly away from it as the planet slowly, silently rolls around its 84-year orbit. For nearly 42 years, one pole is bathed in continuous, relentless sunlight. Then for the next 42 years, it is swallowed in total, unbroken darkness. 42 years of sunlight. Then 42 years of night. Not a long summer. Not an extreme season. A lifetime of darkness. A lifetime of polar noon. This unique tilt gives Uranus the most extreme seasons in the entire solar system. And scientists cannot fully explain how any life or atmosphere could survive on a world where the weather system must reset itself utterly, completely, every half-century. But the tilt is only the beginning. The real question, the question that has haunted astronomers for decades, is, how did this happen? The cause of Uranus's unusual axial tilt is not known with certainty. The most widely accepted theory is that during the formation of the solar system, an Earth-sized protoplanet collided with Uranus, causing its skewed orientation. A rock the size of an entire planet, slamming into a young Uranus with enough force to knock it permanently onto its side, and leave it there forever. But here's where it gets stranger. Scientists noticed something troubling about that explanation. Neptune has an extremely similar mass, radius, rotation rate, and atmosphere. These similarities suggest the two planets may have been born together. Yet Neptune is not lying on its side. If a catastrophic planetary impact is what tipped Uranus over, why did Neptune escape the same fate? So a different theory was proposed, a far more unsettling one. A new study found a plausible explanation. A moon, migrating away from the planet, gradually pulled Uranus over onto its side through gravitational force alone. Something roughly half the mass of our own moon could have done it. Over millions of years, this lost moon crept outward, tugging and warping Uranus's rotation. At a tilt of about 80 degrees, the moon became destabilized, triggering a chaotic gravitational phase that ended when the moon ultimately collided with the planet, vanishing from history and freezing Uranus at its current, nightmarish angle forever. A moon killed by its own planet. A murder committed across millions of years. And the evidence, the corpse, is buried somewhere deep inside Uranus, never to be recovered. Uranus has an unusual, irregularly shaped magnetosphere. Magnetic fields are typically aligned with a planet's rotation, but Uranus's magnetic axis is tilted nearly 60 degrees from its rotational axis, and is also offset from the center of the planet by 1/3 of the planet's entire radius. This is not normal. On Earth, our magnetic field emerges cleanly from our core, pointing north and south with predictable precision. It is what makes compasses work. It is what shields us from the lethal radiation of the sun. On Uranus, the magnetic field erupts from somewhere off-center, lopsided, crooked, pointing in a direction that seems to serve no physical logic. The extreme tilt of the magnetic axis, combined with the tilt of the rotational axis, causes the magnetic field lines trailing behind Uranus to be wound into a colossal corkscrew shape that stretches for millions of miles into space. A corkscrew, drilled into the void, millions of miles long. Uranus has auroras, but because of this broken magnetic field, they do not appear at the poles the way they do on Earth, Jupiter, and Saturn. They appear seemingly at random, scattered across the planet's face. Imagine a world where the northern lights could ignite anywhere, where the sky could explode into color without warning, and where no instrument built by humanity can predict where or when it will happen next. In 1977, humanity decided it could no longer endure the mystery. NASA launched Voyager 2, a spacecraft carrying 11 scientific instruments, built to survive the cold, the dark, and the crushing distance of the outer solar system. It would take nearly 9 years to reach Uranus. Voyager 2 made its closest approach on January 24, 1986, coming within 81,500 kilometers of the planet's cloud tops. The encounter lasted only 6 hours. 6 hours. That was all the time humanity had. 6 hours to study a planet that had spent 2 centuries as nothing more than a pale, featureless dot in our telescopes. In those hours, Voyager 2 discovered 10 new moons, 2 new rings, a magnetic field tilted more than 55 degrees off-axis, and found wind speeds in Uranus's atmosphere as high as 724 kilometers per hour. But it was not the winds that broke scientists' minds. It was Miranda. Miranda is the smallest of Uranus's 5 major moons, barely 470 kilometers across. It has one of the most extreme and varied topographies of any object in the solar system. Voyager 2 passed within just 18,000 miles of Miranda, the closest it came to any object on its entire journey. What it photographed there made scientists stop and stare and question everything they thought they understood about how moons form. Miranda's surface looks like it was shattered into pieces and then glued back together by something that didn't quite understand the original shape. Fractured planes that barely fit together. Ridges that emerge from nowhere. Craters that have no business being next to canyons of that depth. And then there is Verona Rupes. Verona Rupes is the tallest known cliff in the solar system. It stands approximately 20 kilometers high, a sheer vertical face of ice and rock that drops straight into an abyss. For comparison, Mount Everest is less than 9 kilometers tall. Because Miranda's gravity is so feeble, roughly 0.008 times that of Earth, if you were to fall from the top of Verona Rupes, you would plummet for approximately 10 minutes before hitting the ground. 10 minutes, falling, in total silence, watching the cliff face blur past you, in the frozen dark of Uranus's shadow. And now we arrive at the most unsettling mystery of all. Every planet in the outer solar system radiates heat. Jupiter bleeds warmth into space. Saturn glows. Neptune produces more internal heat than it receives from the sun. This is expected, the residual energy left over from the violence of planetary formation, still slowly leaking outward after 4.5 billion years. Uranus produces almost none. Scientists at NASA observed that Uranus appears to have negligible internal heat. There is no warmth coming from inside. It's as though the planet's interior went cold, dead, long before it should have. One explanation is that Uranus was hit by something so massive that the impact turned it inside out, and all of that primordial internal heat was simply lost in that single catastrophic moment. A planet violently emptied of its own warmth. A world that should be burning inside, and isn't. The result is that Uranus holds the lowest recorded temperature of any planet in the solar system, -224 degrees Celsius. Colder than Neptune. Colder than Pluto. The coldest planetary surface measured by human instruments anywhere in the known solar system. And yet, and this is where it breaks logic entirely, the equator of Uranus is actually warmer than its poles, despite the poles receiving far more direct sunlight during Uranus's extreme seasons. The mechanism causing this is entirely unknown. A planet where heat appears to travel in defiance of everything we know about thermodynamics. Scientists have no explanation. They have only the data sitting there refusing to make sense. But deep inside that frozen silence, far below the haze and the howling winds, something extraordinary may be happening. More than 8,000 kilometers below the surface of Uranus, scientists believe it may be raining diamonds. Formed from the extreme pressure crushing carbon and hydrogen atoms together until they crystallize, these diamonds would then slowly sink deeper, through thousands of kilometers of liquid, toward the planet's core. Some scientists believe the interiors of ice giants like Uranus may be even stranger, that close enough to the core, the temperature may be high enough to produce oceans of liquid carbon, with enormous diamond icebergs floating on the surface. Oceans of liquid carbon. Icebergs made of diamonds. Raining down through the dark in silence for 4 billion years, and not one human eye has ever seen it. To this day, Uranus remains one of the least explored planets in our solar system, with only that single fleeting visit from Voyager 2 nearly 4 decades ago. But humanity is restless. NASA and ESA have identified a Uranus orbiter mission as the highest priority large mission in planetary science for the coming decade. A spacecraft designed not to fly past, but to stay, to orbit this broken, defiant world for years, and pull its secrets out of the dark one by one. Until that ship arrives, Uranus will continue its slow, sideways roll through space. Silent, cold, radiating almost no heat. Its magnetic field writhing like a corkscrew behind it. Its moons carrying cliff faces taller than anything on Earth. Its interior perhaps raining diamonds that no one will ever hold. A world that breaks the rules. A world that refuses to be understood. A world that has been waiting patiently for someone to come back and finish the conversation that Voyager 2 started in 6 brief, breathless hours, nearly 40 years ago. Uranus does not announce itself. It does not erupt. It does not glow. It simply waits, tilted, silent, defiant, in the frozen dark at the edge of everything we know.